Welcome to Brainy Barn. I'm Whiskers, and today we are going on a magical adventure through Noun Town to learn something amazing.
And I'm Clara. Look at all these books I'm organizing. Whiskers, watch out with those alphabet blocks.
Whoops, coming through. Grammar is moving fast today. Brace yourselves for nouns.
Nouns are the building blocks of every sentence. Without them, we wouldn't know what we are talking about.
Look at this. Jim rode his bike yesterday. If we take out the nouns, it just says rode yesterday. That makes no sense.
Exactly. So, what is a noun? Simply put, nouns are naming words. They name everything around us.
Let's head into Noun Town. First stop, people. Look, there's a boy, a girl, and even a friendly Mrs. Brown.
And don't forget the engineers fixing the bridge. Engineer and friend are nouns that name people too.
Next up, places. I want to travel the world. Look at this giant map.
From a small bakery to the city of New York, or even the whole continent of Europe, these are all place nouns. Now for my favorite things. Let's see what Clara has in her mystery box today. A book, a tire, a huge wedge of cheese, and even the Golden Gate Bridge. All of these are things.
Wait, what about things we can't touch? Like happiness or talent? Are those nouns too?
Yes, those are idea nouns. Fear, happiness, talent, and wisdom float like bubbles because they are things we feel and think.
Nouns also have superpowers. They can change into plurals or show possession to tell us who owns what.
Singular means one, like one dog. Plural means more than one, like many cats. See the difference?
And look, that's the dog's bone. The apostrophe shows ownership. It's his bone, no one else's.
To make a noun plural, we usually just add an S. See? One idea becomes many ideas. It's really easy, right?
But for words ending in S, X, CH, SH, or Z, we need the S machine. Box becomes boxes.
Some words are tricky. For lady, the Y changes into IES. But for boy, the Y stays because it has a vowel shield.
What about a potato? It needs an E2, potatoes. And for half, the F disappears and becomes VES.
Time for our review game. Let's see how fast you can turn these singular nouns into plurals.
Cat to cats, wife to wives, potato to potatoes. You guys are noun experts now.
The sun is shining, and it's a perfect day for another grammar adventure in Noun Town.
I've got my glowing book ready to uncover more secrets about plural nouns today.
We are diving into part 2 of our series. Get ready, because some nouns can be quite tricky.
First up, let's look at the rebels. These are irregular plurals. They don't follow the normal rules at all.
Look, one mouse becomes many mice. The whole word changes. It's like magic, isn't it? And when we talk about a person, we don't say persons. We say people. See how the word scales up.
The farm has more surprises. One ox becomes oxen, and one child becomes a group of happy children.
Remember, these rule breakers change their whole look. You have to memorize them to master Noun Town. Now, let's talk about compound nouns. These are words made of 2 or more parts. First, the single word types.
I'll pull a hat box out of this hat. If I pull out another one, we have hat boxes. Just add ES to the end.
It's a party. One birthday becomes many birthdays. Just add an S to the very end of the word. Even long words like grandchild follow this. One grandchild, or many grandchildren. We pluralize the end.
But wait, what if the compound noun has hyphens? This is where things get interesting.
For hyphenated words, we look for the chief element. That's the most important part of the word.
Take father-in-law. The chief element is father. So, 2 of them are fathers-in-law. The same goes for runners. A runner-up becomes runners-up. The S always finds the most important noun.
Finally, what if there is no main noun in the compound word? Then we just stick to the end. A hang-up becomes hang-ups, and a show-off becomes a group of show-offs. Easy peasy.
You've done it. You've mastered irregulars and compounds. Noun Town is becoming your second home. I'm Whiskers again, and we're going to continue on a treasure hunt to master the world of nouns. Are you ready? Next, let's talk about possession. That means when something belongs to someone. See this fish bowl? It's mine.
To show Whiskers owns the bowl, we add a tiny mark called an apostrophe and the letter S. Now it is Whiskers' bowl. It works for everyone. Look at this dog with his bone. We call it the dog's bone. And there's Sally with her coat.
But wait, what if a name already ends in S, like our friend James? We usually add another apostrophe S James's backpack. That's the tricky part. Even when a singular name ends in S, we usually still add S.
But why add another S if there's already one there?
Great question, Clara. We add S because the word is still singular. It's talking about just one James.
Wait, why not just remove the last S and add an apostrophe?
Because then the name would change. The original name is James, with the S included. We never remove letters from someone's name to make it possessive. James plus S equals James's.
If we removed the S, it would be like changing James into Jame. And nobody wants poor James losing his letter.
Remember, Brainy Barn friends, keep the whole singular noun, then add apostrophe S to show ownership. Examples on screen. Chris gives Chris's hat. Bus gives Bus's tire. James gives James's backpack.
Tiny apostrophe. No missing letters.
But grammar has some very old-fashioned exceptions. Normally, singular nouns get apostrophe plus S to show possession. But some ancient and classical names ending in ES follow an old traditional style. And for very old, ancient names like Achilles, we sometimes just add the apostrophe. Look, Achilles' heel, Aristides' loyalty, Hippocrates' theory, Ulysses' voyage.
Now, what if there are many owners? If we have a group of cats, we put the apostrophe after the S. Cats' toys. But some plurals are tricky. Words like children don't end in S, so we add apostrophe S. Children's books.
Check this out. When Jack and Barbara share one dog, we only put the S at the very end. Jack and Barbara's dog, but if they each have their own dog, they both get an S. Jack's and Barbara's dogs. That's a lot of pups.
Even long compound words follow the rule. Look at these fathers-in-law's hats. The E's goes right at the finish line.
Moving on, let's talk about common versus proper nouns. Common nouns are just general names for things. Proper nouns are specific names. Instead of just any teacher, it's Mr. Scott. Instead of a school, it's my learning sanctuary school.
Proper nouns always start with a capital letter. Famous landmarks like the London Bridge or the Washington Monument are always proper. Even geography counts. Look at the Rocky Mountains and the Nile River glowing on our big world map.
Common nouns have little helpers called noun markers. See these birds? They carry the words a, an, and the. But proper nouns like governor may stand alone. They don't need the birds or the noun markers because they are already very important. Wow, we learned so much today, from apostrophes to big capital letters. You're all noun experts now.
Let's celebrate. Grammar is fun when you have friends like us to help you through the rules.
Don't forget to subscribe for more adventures at Brainy Barn. There's always something new to learn.
See you next time at Noun Town. Bye-bye.